Hey guys, I just want to talk about my story today on how I was broke in the UK, no future, no plan, no goals, and I left the UK and I moved to Dubai and I now run a six-figure coaching business. And I just want to talk about how I started off in the UK and sort of moved here to Dubai and, making over 10K a month and just enjoying life and having freedom to work wherever I want and basically living in my dream city. So before I get to where I am currently and what I'm doing and how I'm making money online, I need to go back first, right? I need to go back when I was in the UK. So I'll start off when I was sort of 16, 17. In my GCSEs in secondary school, I did pretty decent. I got a few B's, I got a few C's. But then when it came to A levels, well, that's where I struggled. So in my first year of A levels, I got 3 U's, which is crazy. 3 U's, right? So basically, if you guys don't know what a U is, if you're in like the US, for example, it's like a fail, right? I basically failed the lowest grade possible in all 3 subjects. So essentially, I wasted a year, okay? So the goal at the time was to go to university because that's what my parents wanted. And, I didn't really have a clue what I wanted to do, I'll be real. I was just going through life, basically having fun and just enjoying myself. And, I never used to revise. I never really cared about school. I really hated school. It was the worst time for me because I was very introverted. I didn't like speaking to people. And yeah, literally, I was just a very quiet kid. So when I got 3 U's, I was sort of devastated. I didn't really know how to drop that news to my parents. Imagine trying to come home and saying, yep, I got 3 U's. Yeah, obviously they weren't happy. They weren't pleased because, they thought I was going to go to university. I did quite well in primary school and I did fairly well in the beginning of secondary school. I was in like the top sets for each class. And, there was that hope that, he's going to go to university, get a degree and then get a good job. But obviously when you get 3 U's in the first year, it's very difficult. So yeah, I made the decision to sort of retake a year. And obviously that didn't go down well with my parents, but that was the situation. At the time, I was also about to get kicked out of school as well. After my mum calling the school, they've sort of gave me a second chance and they said, look, you need to start coming in more, the grades needs to improve and all of that kind of stuff, right? So it was what it was. I did want to continue school. I had options to do an apprenticeship, had, various other options, but I said, you know what, let me just give this a go. Let me just get through school and hopefully I can get to university. So yeah, I retook the year. I think I got a few D's, maybe a few C's as well. So it was enough to sort of go to second year. Now in the second year, I sort of worked a little bit harder and I tried to work harder. I tried to stay in school more. I tried to do more revision. I tried to finish my coursework on time. And literally, I remember it got to the end of the year, right? I remember sitting at the end of the year thinking, wow, like this is really difficult. And like I was struggling. My grades were terrible. It got to a point where I think my grades were so terrible and I think there was some coursework due for one of my subjects, right? And I just felt like I'm not going to go to university. I remember my teacher emailing me saying, are you going to submit the last bits of coursework? What's happening? And I literally said to her, and I'll see if I can find this email, but I literally said to her that, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to university. I'm not going to submit the coursework. Just grade me with whatever grades I get with what I've submitted already. I thought maybe I might just get an apprenticeship after this, or I didn't really have a plan, right? So funny enough, I was actually in Dubai when I was about to get my grades for the second year to find out if I was going to get into university. I was actually in the Burj Khalifa. I remember this so vividly. I went on my phone, it was results day, and obviously I wasn't in the UK, but on your like UCAS application, you can see if you get into uni or not on the day. And yeah, I got an unconditional offer for 2 universities. So I was very, very happy at the time because for me, it was like, I don't know what it was, but for me, it wasn't like I'm happy for my future. It just felt like I've got something to do, if that makes sense. Like I didn't really have a plan. And I just thought, let me just go down the traditional route. I just thought, let me just go down uni because that's what I've been told that I need to do. My parents told me university is the way, that's going to get me a good job and I'm going to make some good money. So yeah, I went into uni and around that time I was also working for Argos. So Argos is like a retail store. It was very difficult. I was working part-time because I had uni as well at the time. I had to do deliveries. I used to wake up 5 a.m, go to work. We had deliveries at 6 or 7 a.m, something along those lines. And yeah, it was very cold. Like the UK was freezing, right? And those cages, I'll show you the products in these cages, like they're full to the brim. And we had to sort of bring these cages in and we had a small store. So we used to get like 10 cages for delivery and stuff. I remember those times were extremely difficult, very, very hard, right? But I just went through with it. It is what it is. I just done what I had to do, right? Like anyone would do. So after that, I had university as well. So I was doing uni, I had a foundation year. So it was like 4 years of uni. So again, I felt like I'm just wasting time at this point. I was basically just living life, didn't have a plan and yeah, just basically wasting time, right? And I regret that a little bit now when I look back, but I guess it sort of made me who I am today and sort of brought me to where I am today. Then I got into the first year of uni after doing my foundation year and I actually got sacked from Argos because I wasn't flexible enough with my time. And then what I did was I worked for duty free in the warehouse. Worst job I ever did, because this job was crazy, right? Like, you're in warehouses, there's no windows, you can't really talk to anyone, you're not allowed to. We had to pick like perfume, put them in boxes, the radio would just be playing 24/7. It was actually so bad. Like, I was doing night shifts as well, right? And I felt depressed at the time. Like, I felt low, one of the worst periods of my life. And it was so bad working in that warehouse that someone actually committed suicide at work because it was so bad. Like, it was almost inhumane. Like, you couldn't really work there because you're not allowed to talk to anyone, especially if you're doing night shifts. It's crazy. It was like 9-10 hours. Yeah, man, honestly, it was very factory like. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it. It was terrible. It's not good for your mental health, and there's no windows. Just listening to a radio 24/7 and not talking to people, trust me, that stuff drives you crazy. And it did. It drove someone to suicide. So it was very unfortunate. I actually know this person and I spoke to him briefly, so it was very sad when I heard about that. But yeah, this is what I mean, right? Like, I've gone through some really tough times. I've gone through some really tough jobs. After that, I actually got into a company called Sky. Now, Sky is one of the biggest media companies in the UK, and I was actually happy getting into Sky because I thought, you know, maybe after uni I could actually do something in Sky. So in university I was studying like digital media, so it was like filming, editing, visual effects, all of that kind of stuff. So I thought, when I join Sky, I'll work for Sky and I'll do uni at the same time, and hopefully by the end of uni I can get into a better job in Sky. So what initially I was doing in Sky was a sales advisor, so I'd be selling on the phones. So basically I was working in a call center, so that job was terrible as well. Not the job itself, I guess it was to a certain extent, but more so the micromanagement was unbelievable. They'll treat you like little kids. I feel like there's a lot of call centers are like this. The managers would be, you know, sucking up to the higher up managers. On top of that, we were on the phones 24/7. Like, as soon as we're done with a call, I think we got like 10 or 15 seconds to write notes and then jump on the next call. Like, if you didn't do that, they would punish you. They would, you know, give you warnings. They could put you on some sort of performance plan if you're not selling. It was, yeah, it wasn't the greatest, right? The pressure was crazy. And yeah, I was selling on the phones. I was pretty good, to be honest. Like, there were periods in there where I was the top seller. You know, I was doing pretty well. In a way, I'm happy for the experience because it taught me sales. It taught me how to, you know, speak to people on the phone, how to sell products and services to people. Honestly, that's helped me so much today. So yeah, I was working in Sky whilst doing university. Now imagine this, I actually applied for Sky and I got the job, and it was a full-time role, which means that I had to work 40 hours a week whilst doing university. And the way I actually done this was I took holidays around uni. So for example, if I've got uni on a Monday and I'm working on a Monday, and let's say I've got uni for like 3 hours in the morning, but I'll take 3 hours off from work, go to university, and then come to work straight away. And I couldn't really change my shift until after 6 months, after I passed probation. Yeah, I did that for a good 6 months. Very hectic. I had literally no life, no time, and yeah, it was just very difficult, right? Managed to do it, passed my probation, and then I was doing university. Now, I was at this job for like 4 years, right? I was at Sky for 4 years. So I graduated, I got my degree. I didn't really care about my degree, I'll be honest with you. I did manage to get a 2-1, which I'm happy about, but this degree was mainly for my parents. My parents always wanted at least one of their children to go to university. I've got 3 older siblings, 3 older sisters. They didn't go to university, so I guess the pressure was on me to sort of go. But I just did it. I did it for my parents. I did it for their happiness. And I even told my mum at the time that, you know, this degree is for you, but this degree is not going to get me to places where I want to get to. I don't actually need this degree, because where I want to get to, this degree is not needed. Obviously, she just cared about the degree. She was happy. And that's still framed in the house back in the UK. If my mum or dad is watching this, obviously that was for you guys. But now I was working at Sky, and in that time, I got married as well. I actually found my partner through Sky as well. At that point, I was married. I was working at Sky, bringing in about £25,000 a year, which is, I think, what, 1,700 or 1,500 after tax. So it wasn't a lot. So I was working there for a good 4 years, and I finally got another role which I applied for, which was a media operator. Around that time I was doing YouTube as well, so I guess that helped me get the job. But yeah, I got the media operator job. I was thrilled to the moon. I started there, and honestly the first few weeks were really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought, you know what, I've got something here. Maybe I can move up in this company or do something here. My salary increased a little bit, so you know, it felt good. And there was no micromanagement as well, so manager was really good. Like, shout out to my manager John. Honestly, if you're watching this, you helped me a lot. You're a fantastic manager, the best manager I probably ever had. But yeah, honestly, it was actually enjoyable working there, right? It was actually, compared to the call center, this was like a whole different world. However, after a few weeks, it did get very repetitive. I didn't really like it too much, to a point where like I was working 12-hour shifts, like all the shifts were 12 hours. Now, a quick little information on my YouTube channel around that time. So when I was doing YouTube, I was actually doing it with a friend of mine. A lot of you guys, if you're watching from the very beginning, you'll remember that. Like, I was making videos about cars. I had my E53 at the time, and we were just making videos on cars. Like, we enjoyed cars, we loved it. Unfortunately, at the time, me and my friend fell out, so we kind of went our separate ways. I always wanted to move to Dubai. So moving to Dubai was always part of the plan at some point in my life. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. So when I fell out with my friend at the time when we were creating YouTube content, I decided to shift my niche, because I felt like if I ever moved to Dubai, then I can't be making videos on cars. Well, I could, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult trying to get cars, trying to get hold of them. them, film them. It would just be a little bit more difficult for me to do that. So that's when I decided to go to the finance niche, because I like talking about money, I like talking about business, and I thought, let me document different ways to make money online. So that's what I did. I started making money online by trying different methods. You can literally check these videos out on my YouTube channel. And honestly, that was one of the best decisions I made. So yeah, I was working on my YouTube channel at the time. I was working these shifts. I was crazy tired. I literally remember, right, this is crazy. I remember working my job. So remember I said earlier that you're doing 12-hour shifts, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would have 12-hour shifts, okay? And I'd always be making videos for Sunday, right? So I'd always be making my videos and I had to post on Sunday. Now let's say I've made these videos on a Thursday, right? So I remember this very clearly, and I did this for weeks. The Friday where I'd be working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m, I would be working before I start that shift. I'd be working during my lunch, and when I come home, I'd work on my videos as well. So I was editing my videos during work, after work, before work, literally between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I was working 12-hour shifts. I think I had about 3 hours sleep or 4 hours sleep across the 3 days. So I was extremely exhausted. Like, I'd come to work extremely exhausted. I remember once when I was going for my lunch, right, and I took my laptop with me, and I think one of my colleagues asked me, you know, what are you getting for lunch? And I was like, nothing really, I'm just going to be editing. And I remember she was like, but it's your lunch, like, take your lunch. And I was like, nah, I've got a business to build. I've got something here. I remember that very clearly. And I used to go to my car, I used to have my laptop, and I used to just edit my videos. I just build my online businesses, right? And it's so funny because when I look back at those times, like I was working so hard, like it was very difficult. Like the period was so tough. I had pretty much no social life. I was working 24/7. I was doing other things as well. You know, it was very difficult. I didn't really know where it would take me, but I thought, you know what, let me keep working on it. Something's gonna give. The hard work I'm putting in, the effort I'm putting in, you know, hard work never goes unnoticed. And then I wanted to move to Dubai, right? So I planned on moving to Dubai, but I just didn't know how I was gonna do it. Me and my partner did a nikah, which is like a Islamic marriage, but then we done our legal marriage in February 2023. And at the time we were going to Dubai for our honeymoon. And I remember saying to her at the time that we're gonna go to Dubai this time, but we're not gonna stay in any fancy hotel. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stay in an apartment in Marina. And the whole point of me doing that was to sort of visualize and manifest us actually moving to Dubai and living in an apartment. So literally that's what we did. In February 2023, we went to Dubai, we stayed in an apartment. Yeah, we just acted as if we lived there. And honestly, it was amazing. We were there for like, I think 15 or 16 days. We enjoyed it so much. We loved it. Eventually we came back, and yeah, back to my 9-to-5 job, back to my long hours. You know, I had to go into work every day as well. There was no chance to really work from home. 7 a.m. shifts used to kill me. And even then, right, like I'll show you a picture now in front of your screen. Like I had my laptop there and I was watching these feeds while I was working on my online business. Now I wasn't really allowed to do that, but I was doing it anyway, right? I was building a business for myself. At the end of the day, look, no one's gonna come to save you, right? No one else is gonna do the work for you. No one else is gonna make you successful. You have to put in the work yourself. So I was really dedicated. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this happen regardless. I'm gonna make this happen. So let's fast forward a year from there, and I see one friend of mine, he posted on his Instagram story that he moved to Dubai. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I wanna do that. And I remember I was in Bahrain at the time. I was on holiday in Bahrain, and I dropped him a message. I was like, oh, you know, how did you move to Dubai? Like, what are you doing out here? And he was telling me that, yeah, he's doing real estate. I was like, okay, that's quite interesting. How do I do that? Like, I want to move to Dubai as well. I want to start doing something. So I messaged him asking him, like, how did you do it? Who do I speak to? He gave me the recruiter's name. So I spoke to the recruiter. Long story short, I didn't actually get the job. I didn't actually get the real estate agent role. It was commission only. Yeah, I just didn't get the role for whatever reason, right? I thought initially that if I get this role, I can work on my YouTube channel. I can try make some money online, and I can just focus on both of those at the same time. In a way, good I didn't get the job because the job was very hectic. It was very hard. You had to put in hours. I only really wanted it for the visa so that I could stay here and work on my online business. So what I did was I thought, you know what, forget everything. Let me take the biggest risk of my life. So what I did was I planned to move to Dubai, and I planned to move there without anything, right? I thought, let me go there for 3 months, find a job, and hopefully I can stay there. So what I did was take 3 months unpaid leave from work. I was selling my car, which I eventually sold as well. And yeah, just took a one-way flight to Dubai. And the plan was to move there for 3 months and try and find a job to secure my stay there. So just before I moved to Dubai, I had sort of like a leaving party. It was also my dad's birthday at the time as well. I'll just roll some clips off that day.
He's going to make his own life.
It is.
I miss him. Of course, I'm happy. He's doing something for himself.
Yes. Yes, everybody. Come on.
So yeah, I literally was leaving my family, I was leaving my friends, I was leaving pretty much everyone behind to, you know, secure a dream. I moved to Dubai with my wife, so me and my wife moved here. And once we landed here, we were like, okay, we're gonna just try and get a job. We're just gonna try and secure our stay here, and then I can sort of work out what to do from there. Now I was making a little bit of money online from YouTube, very little, probably like 800 to $1,000 a month, not a lot by any means. I also moved here with no savings as well, so it was very, very difficult. I had to sort of penny pinch, I had to sort of spend less. You know, I couldn't really, like I wasn't here on holiday. holiday, right? I was here to secure my stay. Within those 3 months, I worked really hard on my online businesses, made some serious money, started making some good money to the point where now I'm making well over 10K a month quite comfortably. And it's all because of my online coaching business, which I started not too long ago. In my first month of actually doing it, I made 10K in the first month, which shows like how easy it is to actually make money online if you actually put in the effort. And that's literally why I started a coaching business, because I wanted to help other people quit their 9-to-5 job, because I've been there. Like it's really difficult, and you know, there's no hope, right? When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your bills increase. But my main goal was to try help people quit their 9-to-5 job, right? Like whether you're from the UK, US, or wherever you are, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, my goal was to help you quit. Now, the reason I left the UK mainly was because I wasn't around like-minded people. The weather was terrible. You had to pay tax. Obviously, I wasn't happy in my 9-to-5 job either. And Dubai was always my dream. Like, I was always my dream to move to Dubai. Like, if you watch some of my old videos, you'll see that I was talking about moving to Dubai well before I actually did. And the reason I like Dubai and I love Dubai so much is because firstly, you've got good weather all year round, no tax. You know, there's so many entrepreneurs and business owners here, so many like-minded people to network with. And honestly, Dubai is just an amazing, amazing place. I've come on holiday here so many times and I really like it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make it happen. And look, I did, right? I took the biggest risk of my life. I quit my job, I sold my car, and I moved to Dubai. I remember sending that text message to the manager at the time, who basically asked, like, when am I coming back to work? Because I took 3 months unpaid leave, right? And I remember messaging him saying, look, I'm looking to resign now. I'm not coming back. I've secured my place in Dubai and I'm now resigning. And honestly, that was such an amazing feeling to do. And like, I've always read about it. I've always heard other people talk about it. And for me to do it myself was crazy. So, you know, I've worked a lot in my life and I've worked so many 9-to-5 jobs. And now working for myself, I can honestly say it's a lot harder than working a 9-to-5 job. But the best thing about working for yourself is that you're your own boss. The best thing about making money online is that you have freedom. Like, I can go to the beach and work. I work next to the pool. Like, I'm actually enjoying working for myself because I can change my settings whenever I want. So literally, like the other day I was working by the pool and it was amazing. Like, I've got my laptop, just working away, making money. But obviously, don't also let that fool you, because being an entrepreneur and being a business owner is not easy by any means. You know, every day you're working to get clients. Every day you're working to make money. So it's not easy. Don't look at that life and think, oh yeah, I want that life and it's going to come easy. It's not going to come easy. And remember, I worked so hard to even get to that point. It is hard work. It's not easy. Like, you're not going to become an entrepreneur and everything's going to become easy. No, if anything, things become harder, right? It's not easy by any means. But if you put in the work, if you work hard, like, you can achieve whatever you want. And even when you get to the top of your game as an entrepreneur, it's still not easy. Like, it's still going to be stress. It's still going to be hard work. But as I said, it's still worth being an entrepreneur every single time than working a 9-to-5 job. Because when you work a 9-to-5 job, you've got a boss, he tells you what to do, he tells you when to wake up, and you've got to follow orders. And now I don't need to do that anymore. I work for myself, I go all in, I work really hard, and I risked everything to get to where I am today. And honestly, like, you can easily make so much money online. You can make 10, 20, 30, 40, even 100K a month by literally doing what I'm doing. So essentially what I do is run a coaching business where I help people that are working a 9-to-5 job, and I basically help them make 10K a month online so they can quit their 9-to-5 job and basically have freedom. And if that sounds like you, if that sounds like something that you want to do and you're interested in this business model, well, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can book a call directly with me by clicking the link in the description. What we'll do, we'll jump on a call and I'll see if you're a good fit to work together, and I'll see if there's anything I can do to help you. But honestly, guys, I want you to take this video as inspiration. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Right now, I've done a big achievement on my end where I left the UK, settled down in Dubai, making money online. Those were like some of my beginner goals, you can say. But you know, I have so many more goals that I want to hit. I want to hit 100K in a month. I want to hit 1 million in a month at some point in my life. And I know for a fact I'll hit 100K in a single month this year at some point, maybe even in the next few months. I'm that confident because, you know, I've seen the potential with this business model. I've seen how it can help me, but not only just me, I've also seen how it can help my clients as well. Because a lot of people think that, you know, they don't have a skill that they can sell. They think that they're not capable to make money online, and I completely disagree. Everyone has a skill. You're not on this planet for 20, 30 years and you've not developed any skill. I think that's a complete lie. If you don't have a skill, you should be looking to develop skills. You should be looking to learning different types of skills. But again, there is no one, in my opinion, that doesn't have a skill, right? Everyone's got a skill, and each skill could be worth 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, but you just don't know that. It just takes someone to unlock that skill so you can start making money online. And honestly, having a coaching program is one of the best business models you can do, because you're selling to high ticket clients, you're helping people at the end of the day. So you're making money, you're helping people, and I don't think there's any better business model out there. So again, guys, I hope you take this as inspiration. This is just my story about, you know, living in the UK and then moving to Dubai. Honestly, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys for the next video.